So we're in the room, and the next you know, we get a call from LFA saying, "Hey, we got a guy. He's stepping up on 24 hours notice,
Wow.
and the fight's gonna be at welterweight." And I was like, "Oh, all right, cool."
Oh, okay. So they bumped you up a weight class because you were originally going to fight 155. 24 hours notice. They say this fight's going to be at 170 now because this guy doesn't have enough time to cut weight or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
Wow. So you took this fight on 24 hours notice. Had you known the opponent? Did you know anything about him prior to accepting?
No. That was all Sean and Peter. Like
Wow.
they did their thing. Watched some film on him. The next day, we were doing the shakeout. Sean and Peter, they discussed a quick game plan with me. You know, this is what's going on. This is what he's gonna do. Boom, 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 and that was it. And then we fought.
Welcome to the Prize Fighting Business. I'm your host, Daniel Caycedo, and today my guest is professional mixed martial artist and prize fighter, Cadillac Simpson. LaVille is 9-4 as a professional mixed martial artist, and Tapology.com has him as the number 7 ranked lightweight in the state of Colorado. He recently moved to Colorado from Texas, where he began his career, to further pursue his passion of being a high-level prize fighter. He now trains with Team Elevation down in Denver, Colorado, and he's fresh off of his most recent win at LFA 68 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We sat down to have a conversation about how he approaches his career, his training camps, his most recent win at LFA 68 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and what's next from here. So let's take a look at my conversation with LaVille Simpson. LaVille, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. How you doing after fresh off of a win at LFA 68 in Minneapolis, Minnesota? How do you feel?
Good. Wanting more. Glad camp's over. You know, it was about 6 months because we had one fight fall out in March. Yeah, I immediately went and started getting ready for this one as well too. So it was a really long camp. Really been enjoying this week. Kind of enjoying the peace and the quietness in the mind of knowing that there's not a human being out there that signed a dotted line to beat you up.
Yeah. So we're about a week after the fight, and you won the fight, went full 3 rounds decision. But you took this fight with this individual or this specific fighter on 24 hours notice. Is that right?
Right. Correct. That was day of weigh-ins.
Wow.
So it all started, we were checking our weight, and I was about 159. And one of the gentlemen that was working for LFA was telling us, hey, you know, your opponent's having a hard time. He's wanting to know if you're wanting to do a catch weight, yada, yada, yada. We were like, well, we still have time to make weight, so we're gonna push, like we're gonna make the weight. And so we go down there, and I'm hearing he didn't make weight, so I was just like, all right, that's extra money. And then they're like,
why would that be extra money?
For him missing the weight.
Because they penalize for the purse.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would
and that
have
goes
penalized.
to you.
Yeah, so that would have came to me.
Cool.
And so then the next thing you know, we're hearing that he was carted out and he was taken to the hospital because they were going to, give him some IVs because he was severely dehydrated and, he was really going through it. So we're going and we're doing the pictures and all that stuff for the media and getting gloves fitted. And then the next thing you know, they're talking about doing a roundtable talk with Pat Miletich and Ron Crunk for Access TV. So I went upstairs real quick, got dressed, took a shower and all that stuff because I was still, gross from, having, made weight.
And you're about to be on TV.
Yeah, so I hurried up, took a shower real quick, and came down. And then Phoenix came up and gave me a hug, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, wait, what? She was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, but we're working on it. And I was like, we're working on what? And she was like, your opponent, they can't clear him. He's in really bad shape. So I was just like, oh, gosh. So then I go back. I talk to Ron. I talk to Pat. I tell them what's going on. and they're just like, well, we hope that something's in the works. We hope that someone will step up and fight you on 24-hour notice. And
So you were speaking on live TV though, on Access TV?
no, it's just a little
Okay.
round table.
I see.
Little
For
round,
before the
yeah,
fight. Got it.
yeah, little round table interviews, and so then it's about, we're done. I go up, I'm eating and stuff like that. I'm in my room, and the food was terrible where I was at. Everything was terrible at the casino. But what can you expect? It was casino food.
Right.
And so we're in the room, and the next we get a call from LFA saying, hey, we got a guy. He's stepping up on 24 hours notice.
Wow.
And the fight's going to be at welterweight. And I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Oh, okay. So they bumped you up a weight class because you were originally going to fight 155. 24 hours notice. They say this fight's going to be at 170 now because this guy doesn't have enough time to cut weight or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
Wow. So you took this fight on 24 hours notice. Had you known the opponent? Did you know anything about him prior to accepting?
No. That was all Sean and Peter. Like,
Wow.
they did their thing. Watched some film on him. The next day, we were doing the shakeout. Sean and Peter, they discussed a quick game plan with me. This is what's going on. This is what he's gonna do. Boom, 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 and that was it. And then we fought.
Nice. What was the game plan?
Keeping him at range.
Okay.
Keeping him at range, using length, using distance, keeping him at range. Snap kicks, a lot of front kicks, jamming up the middle, because we knew he was gonna go for the level change, and keeping my back away from the fence.
Nice. And were you able to effectively implement that game plan?
For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah, for the most part.
could always be better, right?
Yeah, for sure. It could definitely always be better.
So with this victory, you've won 3 of your last 4, and 2 of those being for LFA. Or 3 of those being for LFA.
Yeah.
So what do you see as next for you?
I don't know. I just want to stay busy.
Yeah.
I'd like to at least get 2 more in before the year's over with. I don't want to have to wait another 5 months. I don't want to have to go through a whole bunch of opponent changes and stuff. I would like to have something lined up, September, and it be that person September.
Okay, September. So
Yeah.
give you a couple months to train, or guess go back to the skill training and then get back into a camp.
Right.
How long do you like your camps to be?
Camps really, I don't know. I've never really. We do 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, but it gets a little mundane at times. So
Sure.
it's just better to be in the gym, staying in the gym, and then having something fall on your lap.
Right.
I've always felt like the ones that fell on my lap, I've always done better in.
Yeah. Well, what's it like having a 6-month camp? Are you getting burnt out thinking about fighting and consistently having the opponent change, drop out, the date moving backward? How does that feel when you're in the middle of camp grinding something out and struggling day to day with this idea of, well, at least I get to lay it on the line on X date, and then that date keeps moving?
Yeah, I was a little sick of the shit.
I could imagine.
This last one, the first time it happened, I was really agitated because of the opportunity lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then
because that was a Dana White Contender Series fight, right? So you were scheduled to fight before this down in Texas.
Yeah, and
that opponent fell out.
Yeah, and Dana White looking for a fight was there, so
Yeah.
he was there.
So what happened with that fight? Why didn't you get the opportunity to fight in front of Dana White?
The dude just backed out 30 minutes before we were supposed to fight.
Wow, so you have this happening to you quite a bit as far as opponents dropping out or changing last minute.
Yeah, so he's the one that started it because he had done it one previous time in Texas.
To you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, his name came across a couple other times in the pro circuit, a couple times when I was an amateur. Now he's saying this last episode he was very sick, and he's saying he's been diagnosed with leukemia, but
geez.
but he's posting pictures of him training in Brazil, so it's a little
Oh.
bit questionable, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah, like you just got diagnosed with leukemia about a month and a half ago, but now you're talking about posting pictures of you in Brazil training.
Yeah. So what happens when a fighter pulls out and it's 30 minutes before the show? Do you get paid for that fight, or is it something like, well, we'll promise to get you a fight again very soon?
I got paid, and then they gave me a fight.
Oh, that's great. So you get both.
Yeah, I got both, but it was more or less for the fact that Dana was there.
Sure. Because of missed opportunity.
Yeah,
Opportunity cost.
I was really agitated about the opportunity that was
I bet.
missed.
I bet.
And then when this one got drug out all the way till the end of May, like I was just like, all right, I was like, well, that's another full camp. So did the full camp, and then when you're hearing of your opponent like getting sick and like damn near dying on weigh-in day, you're like, man, am I cursed or something? Like,
Yeah, right. Huh.
am I like the Black Plague or something to people? Because like people they're not being able to make it.
Maybe you need to change the nickname.
Yeah, and so thankfully Tyler came through. Like he came through.
Tyler was the opponent that you just fought.
Yeah, he came through for sure. Like
yeah, and you guys fought a pretty, tough 3-round fight. You came away with the decision, but what does your body feel like now, a week after the fight, and what did it feel like right afterward? What does a 3-round, 15-minute fight do to your body?
Thankfully, there was no serious bumps and bruises. There wasn't really my lip was swollen. My lip was just destroyed the inside of my lip because there's a point in time when he was trying to catch me with the jaw crank. He was cranking on my jaw, and my teeth went into my bottom lip. So, the whole inside of my bottom lip was like ground beef for maybe a day or two. But it's cool.
Not too bad. All things considered, if the extent of the injury is just a little bit of lip beat up.
Yeah, and but I felt extremely exhausted this fight.
Do you think that was because of a long camp, or what would you attribute it to, you think?
I don't know. I don't want to make excuses. Like, it could be a long camp. It could have been I had a bad reload. Like, I didn't,
Right.
Like, the food was terrible, so I didn't want to eat. So, I had, 3 pouches of baby food, some beef jerky, and a half-hearted eaten sandwich. I only ate half of it.
Wow.
And some spinach and artichoke dip. I didn't eat the way I normally eat but that's on me.
Sure.
That's on me,
How much weight did you have to cut? You're essentially having to revitalize yourself, re-nourish yourself after. I can tell our viewers you're a pretty big guy, so it can't be too small of a weight cut for you, cutting down to 155. Now this fight was at 170, so did you have to cut weight for that?
So I ended up going all the way down to 155 because I was supposed to fight at 55.
Oh, okay.
And then, like I said, when my opponent damn near died from cutting weight, then they found this other guy and they contested it at 170 because there's no way he was going to make 55.
But you weighed in at 155.
Yeah, I weighed in at 155. So I had already made the whole drop.
And how big was that drop? What was the weight cut?
I did 8 that morning.
Okay.
So I sweated out 8 that morning.
Nice.
And but like I said, I didn't carb load. I didn't replenish the way that I normally do.
Do you think you were back up to 170 by the time of the fight?
Oh, fight night, I was 180.
Okay, cool. So you did good enough job.
Yeah, but I still didn't put it like I did a good enough job with the liquids. I killed the liquids.
You gained the weight, but maybe didn't necessarily feel as good as you feel like you should have.
I didn't feed the muscle. I hydrated everything. I just didn't give myself the necessary carbs and sugars to run off of.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes, and I felt it halfway. But like I said, it could have been that. I don't know. So the only thing I can really do is just treat it as thankfully I won.
Yeah.
But I know I'll definitely take my reload. More responsible than this last one. Up the cardio a little bit. Because like I said, I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to point a finger at one thing, and it could have been something else.
Sure, sure.
So I like to hold myself accountable for it.
Absolutely. I think that's good. So you're now 9-4 as a professional mixed
Right.
martial artist. Your last 2 or 3 fights, I think, have been for LFA. Let's see.
The last two have been
Last
for,
2 fights, and then the previous one was for EFC.
yeah.
So do you plan to stay at 155 and continue to fight for LFA? Do you see moving up to 170 into the future? What does that look like for you?
No, I'm gonna stay at 55. They're too big at 70.
Okay.
I've done 70 before.
Yeah.
And like I said, the first 3 were great, and there was the 4th one that sent me back down. So yeah, I'll definitely stay at 155.
And at least coming into this fight, you were the number 7 ranked Colorado lightweight, according to Tapology.com. So is that something you think about when you're looking for fights? Are you trying to move up the rankings, like state-wise or even within the LFA organization? Or is it for you just keep fighting and keep trying to win?
It's just winning.
Yeah.
At this point, it's winning. Like rankings, being ranked in Colorado, that's cool. Being ranked here, that's cool. Being ranked, the only thing that really matters is the W.
Absolutely. So, again, about a week off your fight, a big win for you. So are you back to training? Are you resting and recovering? What does it look like after that?
I've really just been like resting the mind.
Yeah, I could imagine. It's a lot of
Like-
stress in a 6-month camp.
Yeah, like my body feels great. Like I know I can go immediately right back into training, but
Mhm.
it's just like the mind. Like I want to finish giving the mind like a week to like fully like decompress and
Mhm.
to understand, like I said, that there's not someone out there that has your name on a piece of paper that's gonna beat you up or
Right.
try to beat you up.
Right.
Like it's very calming. It's very peaceful. It's relaxing.
Yeah.
And
Nothing hanging over your head.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm gonna enjoy this the rest of this week, and then get back into it on Monday.
Yeah. So what is this is outside of fight camp for you. So what would a normal week of training outside of fight camp look like?
I know I'm definitely only gonna be training like once a day, but more technical work. I saw a lot of holes in my jiu-jitsu game,
Okay.
so I'm definitely gonna focus on the jiu-jitsu for myself, not focusing on jiu-jitsu for fighting, not focusing on jiu-jitsu for a specific opponent, focus on the jiu-jitsu to patch up myself.
Because it is very different, competitive jiu-jitsu versus gi jiu-jitsu versus no gi,
Right.
or even MMA grappling. So do you generally do no gi jiu-jitsu, or do you tend to practice with a gi on?
So before I moved here, all I did was train in the gi,
Hmm.
and then since I've been here, I've been no gi, a lot, and I feel like I've kind of created a couple bad habits that I need to fix.
Sure.
Rolling no gi a lot because I know I get really sweaty,
Mhm.
and I know I get really slippery, and
Mhm.
I know I'm pretty explosive,
Mhm.
and I know I rely on that a little bit too much, and
Sure.
it gets me out of situations. So I need to slow myself back down and put a gi on again.
So now it's back to the gi.
Yeah, I need to put a gi back on
Yeah.
for sure.
So training once a day this week, is that like specifically MMA training, or are you going to be doing jiu-jitsu for a week and then slowly get back into striking, or do you mix it up every day? How do you determine what you do if you're just training once a day?
I'll mix it up, but I definitely won't be doing like MMA,
Mm.
like MMA practicing. Like
Taking a break from the team environment too.
Yeah, just getting out of the grind for a
Right.
second. I just got to get out of the grind for a second.
Yeah.
Like I said, not a minute, just a second. So like give myself like another week, like real, like easing my way into training, and then 2 weeks from now, start grinding again a little
Sure.
bit, but making sure that it's not 110 miles an hour.
Yeah, slowly ramp it back up.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you train differently inside versus outside of camp once you're in the full swing of things outside of camp? So, say 2 weeks goes by, you start training on the MMA team again, the competition team. You're taking Muay Thai classes or Jiu-Jitsu classes additionally. Is the training inside of camp and outside of camp different for you?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm a little bit more focused on just myself.
Outside of camp or
Yeah,
inside of camp?
inside of camp, I'm
Okay.
a little bit more focused, like on myself. So,
Yeah.
like I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to work, I'm willing to drill with guys and stuff like that, but it's more or less like if I'm asking you to drill something, it's something that I want to drill.
And you need to be that way. You
Yeah.
need to be selfish when you're competing in a sport as dangerous as fighting.
Nah, it's not that dangerous.
Well, at least with the consequences as high as they are, as something in
there we
fighting.
go. Dangerous makes it sound like we got a couple screws loose, even though we all do.
Of course.
For sure. But yeah, it's like I said, I'm just really enjoying that peace right now. There's a peace. There's a calmness. I'm digging because I haven't felt it in like a minute.
That's great. And you get to focus more maybe on the direct martial art, like you said, with jiu-jitsu as opposed to fighting necessarily.
Yeah, because like I said, there's certain things I have to work on, and jiu-jitsu wise that I know working on it for MMA, like it wouldn't, but it's gonna help me tighten up my overall game.
Right.
So now that I'm not getting ready for someone, now I should work on patching that hole, not instead of just like bandaging it, finding a little cover up. Like, now it's time to like actually like focus on this.
Yeah.
Get this, work on it.
Immerse yourself and dive deep. I like that. That's a really good perspective because I think maybe a lot of fans or people that don't necessarily compete, they think, oh, so-and-so is fighting fairly often. They've got to keep getting better. But in reality, if you're in a fight camp, you're not necessarily able to work on skill development. You're more focusing on maybe your opponent or your game plan or getting your cardio up as opposed to being able to relax and slowly learn or dive into the technique and develop it further and refine it.
Right, yeah, it's a different learning process.
Yeah. So in addition to this training that you do, you have the Elevation Fight Team training. You train and fight for Team Elevation. You're also a member of Easton Training Center. Do you do any type of lifting, weightlifting, or performance type stuff?
We do strength conditioning with Landau Performance at their Resilience Code facility. So we work with Nate Smock, Wrigley, Aaron Porter. Yeah, there we go. And a couple of other coaches from that staff. And like I said, they let us use their Resilience Code facility, which is nuts.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I've seen pictures and videos. It looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's super scientific.
Cool. And have you always worked with them during your professional mixed martial arts career, or when did you start working with them?
3 years ago when I joined Team Elevation.
Yeah, okay. Because they have some type of relationship?
Yeah, like I never had strength and conditioning.
Really?
I would work out with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But I never per se had someone where I would just show up, all right, you're doing this, and this.
Right.
So
not only do you have that oversight now and that coaching essentially, but it's also more sports-specific workouts.
Right, yeah. So I'm not in there doing the meathead workouts with somebody,
Yeah.
And then you're trying to go fight at the same time.
Right.
So it's cool.
Have you found it to be beneficial for your career? Do you feel like it's helped you in your fights?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's definitely helped the weight cuts.
I'm sure.
Be easier. But like I said, it's like you're saying, it's sports scientific, so it's sports specific, blah. And
they get you kind of peaking around fight time too. It's
right.
Not only just we're going to consistently work out and work on your cardio, but they're going to ramp up your program to peak around fight time. And from what other fighters have said, I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but they were telling me that they work well with your coaches and your program, so they can adjust it as the intensity of your practices may ramp up, or as the intensity of a certain day of the week of training and martial arts might happen. Maybe they take it a little bit easier on the sports and performance side of things.
They do that.
Cool.
They're real cool.
Nice.
Cool.
So you work with Team Elevation as far as skill development, Easton for training and classes, Landau Performance for strength and performance. Do you do anything for diet and nutrition, or do you generally take care of that yourself?
That's all me.
Yeah?
That's all me.
What does that look like for you? Do you have a regular diet, or is it in fight camp you kind of set a certain plan out for yourself?
just whenever I'm in camp, I pretty much just eyeball everything,
Hmm.
off of like portion sizes.
Okay.
And I really try to focus on getting more healthy fats and eating foods high in fiber and, protein. Like I really try not to go too much towards the bread or anything
Yeah.
like that. Like I said, like my biggest weakness is my sweet tooth.
Yeah. I think we share that.
Yeah, like I have a real problem with cookies.
I hear ya. So are you able to avoid them generally inside a fight camp?
Yeah, I have no choice.
Sure.
I have
Because
no
otherwise you won't make the weight.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is a weight cut for you? Like just regularly, you're eating normal. You hear you have a fight coming up. Let's say it's 6 weeks out. I mean, what's going through your head? Is it, oh geez, I better clean up the diet and start cutting weight, or is it, well, okay, I'm fine for now, and then 2 weeks before the fight you'll start dialing it in?
No, I'd start because, like I said, like if you've ever like I've had one bad I've had two really hard weight cuts. When I've had one, I went like really bad where I passed out.
Oh wow.
But I still fought,
Wow.
and I won.
Wow.
But it's just the fact of like when you go through that and like you've put your body through it, like you don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And then like missing weight is shameful. So like the last thing I want to do is like shame everyone around me by me missing weight. Like, like I don't want my peers, I don't want my coaches, I don't want anyone to look bad.
You feel like it's not just on you, you're representing your team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So like missing weight makes me like freak out. So I'm
Sure.
willing to make sure that I do everything right so I don't poorly represent everyone else around me.
Yeah. Is that the weight cutting process? Is that something that you do alone, or is it something where you have coaches or teammates helping you out, or friends or family even?
So there's been a couple cuts that where I fought like locally, like where my girlfriend's done them with me. Like my girlfriend's been like the main person like cutting weight, like help me in and out the tub, like doing everything that I'm telling her to do. Like she'll do that for me for sure.
I bet that's not fun for her.
She's a trooper.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was another time where I was cutting to 70 and I was maybe like 3 pounds out. And I was like, man, I want to get back in the sauna. And she's like, if you don't get your ass back in there, like. So yeah, she's always been down for it.
Cool.
Peter, he's the one that's really been like, I don't know, like there's a lot of times where I've been really wanting to be combative with people whenever I go to cut weight. Like,
sure.
Because like
imagine
you're cooking yourself and
you're
then
hangry.
like, yeah, and like you want, but like he'll talk me back into like the tub or something. I'm like, look, man, I want to get out. And he's like, I know you do. He's like, but that's not what we're here for. We're here. I'm like, and he's just got such like a good wordplay with it. I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You have a support network around you where if one person isn't available, another person will step up.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, since I've been here in Denver, they have been the main two that have seen me lose weight.
And that's Peter Straub.
Peter Straub, yeah, and my girlfriend Andrea.
And I think he's the GM at Easton Littleton.
Yes.
And a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
One of the main coaches on the Elevation Fight team, and he was in your corner for the fight.
Right, yeah. He retired about right around when I moved here.
Retired from professional mixed martial arts.
Yeah. So, like I said, like he just kind of like, because he's been helping me out since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got me to open up a little bit, and then, yeah.
So you feel like you have a good relationship with him in your corner?
Yeah, he's solid. He's a good. That's my dude.
Cool.
Peter's my dude.
And who else do you utilize as far as coaches or corners?
So this time it was Peter and Sean Madden. Yeah.
Okay.
I normally have Tony Cummins, but he's been so busy fixing up the commission for the Colorado Athletic Board.
Yeah, he's doing big things there.
Yeah, he's
recently changed the Muay Thai rules.
Yeah, I saw that. So, but that's something that he had always said even when he was cornering me. he would say something about the commission to me, and he was just like, if I was ever in charge, like, this is what and then sure enough, like, he got in charge, and he's been changing it.
Very cool.
So I know he's been very busy, and that kind of swamped him. And then
Yeah.
Sean Madden came in last minute, and he helped me out a lot too.
But you regularly work with both Sean and Peter.
Yeah.
And Sean primarily striking and Peter on jiu-jitsu, or is Peter more like a overall MMA coach and then Sean looks at striking? How does that breakdown work?
Peter helps me a little bit, like fine detail, like some of the things that I'm working on, like like, you know, Elliot's the head coach. Then we also have Elliot Marshall. Then we have Cody Donovan. He's another jiu-jitsu coach as well too.
And both of them UFC veterans.
Yes, both UFC veterans. And when I first moved here, like, sometimes I would get a little bit lost. Like, so, like, Peter helps me break it down and slow it down a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can, like, drill it outside of class, and I can actually have someone's, like, set eyes focused on what I'm doing because they learned it from the coach as well, too. And so it's just like...
That's great.
Yeah, so I have another set of eyes to help me, like, directly, you know, because like I said, like, we've got, I don't know how many athletes in the room.
A lot of UFC fighters, a lot of LFA fighters, high-level fighters.
So we got a lot of athletes in the room, and so, like, Peter's, like, you know, he's that eye, you know, and like I said, Sean, he works with a lot of people, too, on the team, so Sean's moving around a lot, so... Like I said, Sean's been an eye, you know, for a while now too for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I'm very comfortable with those guys. I'm comfortable with all of our coaches, but like I said, like, I'm very pleased with those two, like, in the work and the attention that I've received from them. You know, some people like to complain about attention and stuff that they get from coaches, but it's just like, man, like, how much effort do you put in for a coach to? Or how often are you here?
You have to earn that attention.
Yeah, you have to earn that. So I greatly appreciate the attention that they've given me.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. So when you're picking your corners about who's going to travel with you, who's going to even coach you during camp and be in your corner for the fight, how do you decide that? Is it just who you feel most comfortable with as far as a coach and who you click with?
Comfort, yeah. So Peter's been my guy since I've been here. Like, Peter's going to keep coming with me.
And by here, you mean Denver. You moved to Denver from Texas to train.
Yeah, so Peter's been my guy since I moved to Denver.
Cool.
He's been helping me out. So Peter's always going to, you know.
Do you feel like you can pick up his voice
in
the corner in the middle of a fight?
Yeah.
That's big. That's big to be able to hear your coach in your corner.
That, and he's loud.
Yeah.
For sure. He's loud. For having Sean in my corner the first time, being able to pick up his voice, that was big too.
This last fight?
Yeah,
cool.
Because, you know, like I said, I was used to hearing Peter and Tony.
Sure.
But since I was able to pick out Peter and Sean, like, that's cool. So,
yeah, that's big.
Yeah, so we're going forward, and, you know, I'll get a third one in there.
Okay.
So.
Very nice.
But yeah, as of right now, I had been working with two, so.
Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. So you mentioned your training, you mentioned strength and performance, you take care of your own diet and nutrition. Do you do anything in the way of recovery, like enlisting any help, or is that something you take care of on your own as well?
So I am sponsored by Apex Chiropractic out in the Louisville area.
Shout out to Apex.
There we go. Fixed Movement Recovery Lab as well, too.
Oh, right.
Out here in Louisville. And
I hear good things about them. I mean, I hear that name come up a lot in these interviews with fighters. So that's something that you found has been a good addition to your game?
Yes, for sure. And I had been seeing Matt Bernier. He's one of the members at one of the Easton Academies, and he does this little triggering with his fingers. He's got magical fingers, and, you know, anything feels weird or popped or anything's feeling out of place, like, he sits there and he gets to poking and prodding. And
Trigger point massages, is that what it is?
I don't know what it's called.
Cool.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, for
Whatever
sure.
works.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Cool.
Because I remember when I hurt my back one time, like, getting ready for a fight, I was just like, oh no. Like, it was hard for me to get up out of bed and everything.
What do you do in that case? What do you do when you're struggling to get out of bed because of injury or being hurt more than a lack of desire?
You try to find a way through it. And, like, literally, like, I did 2 sessions with him, and my back felt completely, like,
Really?
yeah.
At least enough to train.
No,
better in
I
general?
went and fought and everything,
Wow,
too.
wow.
Yeah, so shout out to Matt, too, because he's, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, very cool.
For real.
So what, you just mentioned a lot of things there. So what do your expenses look like with training? You have the Elevation Fight Team membership, a monthly membership there. Are you able to train at Easton underneath that membership? Like, could you go to just normal jiu-jitsu classes or Muay Thai classes if you wanted
Don't
to?
put me on the spot like that, man. You'll get us in trouble.
All right.
Next question. I plead the fifth.
Okay, so you mentioned you're sponsored by these people that provide the recovery. Do you have to pay for that, or does the sponsorship kind of cover it?
The sponsorship covers it.
That's beautiful. So,
yeah.
So you kind of went with the approach of building a team of sponsors around you that can trade services that benefit your training. So really an investment in your training by getting these sponsors.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you think about that when you're selecting sponsors, or how do you generally go about looking for sponsors?
My girlfriend does it. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Cool.
I'm not going to sell no wolf ticket and tell you guys. My girlfriend's been like, I don't know, she's been finding me sponsors.
That's great. She's part of your team.
Yeah, for real. She's been finding me sponsors going on like 5 years.
And I bet a lot of fighters approach this differently and are probably curious about how other fighters approach it. What does that look like? Is she just emailing people? Is she going door to door, calling people? What does that look like?
Emails, social media. Yeah. My girl's a hustler. She's a hustler.
Cool.
Like, she knows that there's like 10 million things going on in my head.
Sure.
Outside of like training and
Absolutely.
eating and just living and breathing, and like the last thing I'm thinking about is like blowing up people. Like, hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, can you help me? Hey,
Yeah.
give me something. Give me, like, no, she's the one that's been doing that for me for.
Yeah, allows you to focus more on the training, the thing that will actually lead to success for you long term.
Yeah, so like I said, like each time I win, it's like a return. It's a return investment for her.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. What about healthcare? What about if something happens in the middle of a camp where you get hurt? Obviously, you said that you spoke or that you go to get a massage if it was something more back oriented. But do you have anything as far as healthcare, if insurance, if something did come up?
We'll plead the fifth on that one too.
So you really just have to play it by ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of fighters are in that situation.
Yeah, because like a lot of like health insurance companies, they get a little turned off when you tell them what you do.
I haven't even thought about that. That's another great point. Very interesting.
That's why you plead the fifth.
Huh. Cool.
You never tell on yourself.
Yeah. So take me back then. Take me back to the beginning of your martial arts journey. When did you first decide to fight? And I guess even further back than that, when did you first get involved with martial arts or realize it was something that you wanted to pursue a journey in?
I started training at 19.
Okay.
To make way to get in the Air Force.
Wow. Had you done any sort of martial arts before that?
No.
Wow. So
Yeah.
19, you just walk into a martial arts gym and get started?
Yeah. So I was 235 at my heaviest.
Wow. And you're 180 pounds now, just for to get an idea.
And so I had to make a certain weight. I made that weight, and then they turned me down for a juvenile charge that I had gotten when I was a kid from fighting in Wyoming. And then so the gym owner was just like, hey, he's like, why don't you just stick around, hang out for a year and see if you like this stuff. I was like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever.
So you started your martial arts journey essentially walking into the gym to get in shape for the Air Force. You don't quite make it. So what were your thoughts after that? Did you say, okay, I'm going to keep trying to get into the Air Force, or was it on to the next?
No, it was on to the next thing in life. Like I'd given it enough time. Like I said, scored really high on the entry scores and the tests, and made the weight, did all that other stuff. They had gotten enough. They had gotten 6 months of my life. That's all they needed.
Yeah. Wow. So did you think I'm going to pursue a different career? Did fighting start to come into your mind at that point? What was next?
I really didn't know. The gym owner was just like, hey, why don't you just stick around for a year and try this fighting stuff to see how you like it.
Huh.
So I stuck around. I took my first amateur fight, won that by knockout, and it was hooked.
How long were you into your martial arts journey when you took your first fight?
9 months to a year.
Wow. Okay. So 9 months to a year, you take your first fight, you win it by knockout, and at that point, you're sold. You decide that fighting's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
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 No hesitation. You just know that's the path.
Yeah, it sold me.
Wow. Okay. And so then, what happens after that with the amateur career? I mean, what happens between your first amateur fight and deciding to go pro?
Well, I won my second one. Then third fight, they had me going up for the Texas amateur title. Lose that by rear naked.
And up to that point, you had really just strictly been training striking.
Yeah, I had no jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So then the next thing you know, I was learning jiu-jitsu. Then I went out there and tried. So then the next fight, I tried to quit and rampage slam the guy. He had me in a triangle. So then now I had lost twice by submission, 2 times in a row.
Oh, wow. What's going through your mind? Is it, I'm not cut out for fighting, or I really need to buckle down on my jiu-jitsu?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I thought of both.
Some second doubts coming to your mind, some doubts in your mind.
Then I pulled off a decision, and I was like, all right, we're back in this.
Yeah.
And then, a couple more fights. Then I have my 10th amateur fight, which was for the Texas Lightweight Amateur title again. And then I won that, and then that's when I went pro.
Was there special about the 10th fight being the time you go pro, or did you just decide that you felt good at that point, good enough to start getting paid?
No, that was the agreement the gym owner had with me, Jeff, and our parents, that he wouldn't allow any of us to go pro unless we did 10 amateur fights.
That's where he felt like you'd be prepared after that 10th fight.
like pretty much getting your bearings and not being so shook and not having it be such a culture shock and
Right. And how long was it into your martial arts journey that you went pro? You said it was about 9 months to a year before your first amateur fight. How long before your first pro fight?
2.5.
2.5 years. Okay, so fairly quick. I mean, 2.5 years into your martial arts journey period, and you're going pro in mixed martial arts fighting.
Yeah.
Did you feel confident at that time becoming a professional?
You're just, I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just young.
Feel confident about everything.
Yeah, you're just young and dumb.
Yeah.
So, I went in there and won my first 2 pro ones, and then I got finished in my third one. Then I bumped up to 170. Blew through the first 3 guys at 170. Blew through them. I ran through them in a total 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And then I met a real 170er. And that was my last fight at 170. And then a year later, I was out here in Denver.
And you just felt like the size was too much at 170?
Oh, yeah.
Cutting down from too big a weights the other guys you're fighting?
Yeah, I'm lucky to go. I was lucky going in there the next day sopping wet 181 pounds.
Yeah.
I was eating breakfast on days away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you moved to Denver. That's about your 7th fight. You moved to Colorado to train with the Elevation Fight Team?
Right.
And is that when you met Peter initially, right away when you moved?
Yeah, I met him maybe the 3rd practice in.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I wasn't talking much when I moved here. I didn't talk. And he had some wise, smart ass remark, some kind of joke that made me laugh. So then I started talking to him more, and he's the one that got me to open up to more and more people on the team and all that other stuff. So.
And so now you're 9-4, 6 more fights since moving to the Elevation Fight Team here in Denver, Colorado. And the gentleman you spoke about before, Jeff, who you started with, is in the UFC now. Jeff Neal fought for the Dana White Contender Series. Now he's fighting for the UFC. You have multiple teammates that you train with on a regular basis in the UFC. Do you feel like that gives you confidence going into fights, knowing you train with these high-level guys, or do you feel like that's gym training and it doesn't really matter, nor does it truly translate to a fight?
It lets me know I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm on the right path.
Doing the right things.
Yeah, I'm doing the right things. I'm on the right path, but everyone's path is different. So,
Absolutely.
you know, there's certain things that I may experience in my path, and maybe certain bumps in my road that I'll experience that these guys don't experience, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But it lets me know that I'm on like the right path. So, like I said,
Yeah.
it's just getting some good finishes here. That's all it is. Just gotta give me a good couple finishes.
Absolutely. So if you could think back to the beginning of your career, maybe not when you first walked into the martial arts gym, but perhaps after your first fight, what were your goals at that time? What were you thinking about when you pictured, future LaVille? What did you picture?
Getting out of Texas and making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I have to admit, when people are like, yeah, MMA fighters don't make a lot of money. I was like, man, dude, I'm like, I'm looking at the MMA junkie numbers, and I'm seeing like Wanderlei Silva and these guys who are like making like back in the day, like when I was like early 20s. I was like, man, that's a lot of bread. That's a lot of dough. Like that's how I'm gonna get out of here. But if I was in this for the money, I definitely wouldn't be doing it right now.
Do you have a full-time job in addition to training to fight?
I do drive for Uber and Lyft, so I can make all my practices and make my own schedule. Flexibility.
That's
I don't
big.
have a boss.
That's right.
So, but yeah, for sure. Like, if I could like make like a time machine and go tell myself like, hey, dude, like, you're thinking about doing this because you're thinking about you're gonna make a lot of money. When you go pro, it's like, well, guess what? You're going to be pinching pennies when you go pro, too. So
it's a pursuit of passion for sure.
Yeah.
That's good, though. I think maybe a lot of viewers or even aspiring fighters don't necessarily see that from the outside.
Yeah, like I said, if I was doing this for money, like, I'd be sad.
Sure.
I'd be sad. But don't get me wrong, like, whenever you do get, your show and you win money, it's nice.
Absolutely.
But, like I said, like, I'm making pennies compared to what some other dudes are making. So
how do you feel about that pay structure? The show money just to make it to the fight and then the win bonus. Do you like that structure? Or would you prefer a flat pay?
I would prefer a flat pay,
mm-hmm.
but I would also prefer like if they gave you like an incentive.
Yeah.
For which everyone's like, oh, you dumbass, that's what the show and the win's for. It's like, no, man, like, just think about it. Like, all right, let's say you get, regardless to show up for a fight, let's say, I don't know, we'll say you're a low-level pro, so your pro debut, all right, so let's say my pro debut, if they would have been like, all right, you're going to make $600,
mm-hmm.
regardless of win or show, I was cool with that.
Sure.
And they're like, but if you finish this guy in the first round, we'll give you $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And if they're like, all right, if you finish him in the second round, you get $500.
Right.
You're still like, oh shit, that's $500.
Yeah.
And if the third round, you're dead tired. They're like, well, you made it this far, and if you still finish him, we'll give you like another $250.
A little more incentive.
It's still an incentive.
Digging deep.
You
trying to get that money.
Yeah, like that would be nice.
Yeah.
But I guess some people feel as though that we need a show and we need a win purse.
Sure. Well, the PFL does that somewhat. I mean, you get more points for an early finish.
Yeah.
And that goes into your ranking. Do any other organizations that you fought for do something like that where they do give you a performance bonus for a KO or submission?
I know when I fought for Titan FC,
mm-hmm.
they laid it out on they were just like, yeah, I think it was like $1,000 for a finish.
That's neat. Definitely more incentive.
Like he said that at weigh-ins, and like I had just been looking at like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like my girlfriend had been like hustling and like getting me sponsorships and like selling like a whole bunch of tickets and stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna knock this fool out. I'm gonna get a dog. I'm gonna go get us a dog. and I finished him right in the first round.
Cool.
And then I got the dog that Sunday.
Wow. So some organizations do have that structure.
Yeah.
It's just most of them maybe not.
Yeah, like money talks, man.
Absolutely.
Like the whole win and show bonus, like it's whatever. Like guys are willing to grind out a slow, low, boring decision to still get that win bonus.
Yeah.
But if they know no matter what, their money wasn't gonna get cut in half, and they're going to get like another chunk of change on top of it for finishing someone in the first, second, or third round. Yeah.
I like that. I like the way you think about it. It's a good idea. So your initial goal when you started your career after your first amateur fight was get out of Texas and make money, be a professional mixed martial artist. You accomplished that. So what would you say your goals are now as a fighter or even a mixed martial artist?
Man, I really need to work on mastering myself.
Yeah.
Like I never really like understood like the importance of like mastering yourself. Like once you like master yourself, then
master your emotions and mental
everything will come a whole lot easier. So
absolutely. Maybe not something you ever get to, but at least something to strive for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that. And like I said, I still want to be able to see you travel. I think it's dope that you get to go and you get to travel the world, the country. To go fight someone,
yeah.
And you get paid to do it. Like, yeah, there's money still involved, but the fact that you get to travel and you get to go fight someone, that's so cool.
Absolutely.
That is so cool.
Absolutely. So you're 9-4 as a pro. You had 10 amateur fights, so, 23 fights into your martial arts career, your martial arts journey at this point. If you could think back or think about an aspiring fighter right now at the beginning of their career and you had one tip for them, what would it be?
Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. Be patient and accept failure. Be patient and accept failure. Like, don't like accept it like oh man, like what I mean is accepting it is like taking it as a daily part of like you have to fail so many times before you begin to succeed. So like you really don't know what success is like until you failed at something. So I'm saying like get comfortable knowing that you're gonna fail and you're gonna keep failing and you're gonna fail and then you're gonna succeed and then you're gonna be able to appreciate it more and being patient.
Absolutely.
Like impatient would probably be like the number one thing for sure because I'm an impatient person.
Yeah, me too.
I have really like bad patience. So like I said, once again, going back to mastering myself, all that stuff, patience.
Yeah.
Patience for sure.
It's a great tip. Thank you. And I certainly appreciate you coming in and talking about your most recent fight, and good luck to you moving forward with your career. Hopefully you get another fight here soon in September like you'd like, and get another victory, an emphatic one, and a finish, and make your way towards that next level.
Yeah,
accomplish your goals.
Yeah, for sure.
And thanks again for coming on, Laville.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And for our viewers and listeners, check us out on Instagram at PrizeFightBiz. How can they follow you, Laville?
Simpson MMA across the board.
Go follow him, Simpson MMA, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out online at theprizefightingbusiness.com and like us on Facebook. Thanks a lot.